Hello, Central Valley, and anyone listening outside the Central Valley. This is Nailed It Sports. My name is Caleb Nail. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Today is Wednesday, August 7th. We're still going strong. Appreciate you guys tuning in. You can follow me on X, Caleb_Nail, N-A-L-E. You can find this show on YouTube, Nailed It Sports, and on Spotify and where you listen to podcasts. All that jazz. Today we got a lot to talk about. We're just going to talk sports. But first, as we usually do, I want to share some verses with you, get our day started off right. This is coming from James 3. Just so you guys know, I've been spending a lot of time in James over the past couple months. I recommend it. James is a great book in the Bible, written by James, and it really lays out how, if you believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, how we should live our life. Here's the first part of chapter 3 in James. Not many of you should become teachers, my fellow believers, because you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly. We talked about that the other day. We all stumble in many ways. Anyone who is never at fault in what they say is perfect, able to keep their whole body in check. I don't know anyone that's perfect other than Jesus. When we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we can turn the whole animal. Or take ships as an example. Although they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot wants to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue is also a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind, but no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With the tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse human beings who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? My brothers and sisters, can a fig tree bear olives or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a salt spring produce fresh water. I think it's a good message on the tongue and how the tongue could be used in a way to kill. And especially doing something like this, I want to make sure that my tongue is building others up. There's time to critique and build, and I think there's a way to do it, right? You do it from a place of love, hoping people will grow, turn from their sin, repent, and love the Lord. But there's a way not to do it. There's a way of hate and evil, and we don't want to do that. And I think if you really want to know where someone's heart is, just pay attention to what they say. How do they use their tongue? That will give you where their heart is. All you have to do is spend a couple hours with them, and you'll know exactly where their heart is. So I pray that we all, you listening and myself and my family, that we use our tongues and that we think and are right with the Lord before we speak. We speak from a place of love and truth rather than evil and lies. Some people will take the truth and love as evil and lies, but that is not the case. And some will take evil and lies as love. As we see a lot of that right now. And that is very harmful. And the people spreading the evil and lies know that it is not love. They know that it is evil and lies. So I pray for you guys and myself and my family a lot about the way we use our tongues. So here at Nailed It Sports, we're going to do our best. I pray every morning about it before I come on, that we build each other up in love and truth. I pray that anything that I say doesn't come from a place of hatefulness and evil, but of love and truth. All right, let's do this. Let's talk sports. I want to run through something I was thinking yesterday. Just run through some, like, what do they call it? Quick notes of the Olympics. Probably not going to be quick notes, but everything that went on in the Olympics yesterday. Hard part is that right now, early in the morning, stuff is going on. I'm not going to pay attention to my notifications. But yesterday, Serbia, men's basketball, Serbia, huge comeback to beat Australia. I thought they were done. And Serbia came back and won. Jokic, very good. And I believe United States plays Serbia because the United States men's team crushed Brazil, 122-87. We dominate. We should have no problem. France took down Canada by 9 in men's basketball. I mean, it'll probably be USA France in the final, would be my guess. That should be a fun one. Women's volleyball, 3-0 over Poland. USA women's soccer, which I thought was probably one of the not the highlight, but one of the highlights of the day yesterday. Women's soccer took down Germany in extra time to advance to the gold medal match against Brazil. They took down Spain. So it would be the United States women's versus Brazil in the final. That was a fun game. I tuned in, actually, turned it on the start of extra time. So it was pretty exciting. And we had multiple people stop by and got glued to the television as the final seconds ticked away. Fun game. One of our gals took silver in the women's hammer throw. Women's water polo won 5-4 over Hungary yesterday. That's a big win. Amari Jones won bronze in boxing in the 71 kilogram. Gabrielle Thomas won gold in the 200 meter. And we had another gal finish with the bronze. Women's beach volleyball team, Hughes Cheng, lost to the Swiss 2-0. The very controversial women's 66 kilogram boxing gold medal match will be happening, but the semifinals were yesterday. And something quick on that, and I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but I'm sure you've heard what has happened with, as far as I know, okay, I'm so confused on the entire situation. So let me just tell you what I have seen. At first, I saw that there were 2 men competing in women's boxing. Then I go on to read that they are actually women, but when they took the chromosome test, they had an XY chromosome. I don't know if that's some sort of, I guess it's some sort of, I don't want to say it's disease, but something different that is not out there, and it's not normal. It's not normal. So I don't know if they're women or men. Okay, here's what I do know. If they were born a man, they should not be able to compete in the women's. Plain and simple. If they are women, if they are a woman, then there are rules that you have to abide by, and there's some boxing federation that they actually banned them. They had a press conference about this boxing federation deal. That's not their name. I should have saved their name. But they had a press conference yesterday and talked about these two athletes that are now going to box for gold, and that, they had a high count of testosterone and XY chromosome, so they were not allowed to fight in the boxing federation, not the IOC, the Olympic Committee, but this boxing federation. And they were banned, and they were able to appeal it. And this boxing committee would pay for all of their finances that went into the appeal and all these things. So the Algerian guy, I don't know. I don't know. It's so confusing. But I do know you're either born a guy or a girl. But the media has made it so that I don't know if they're a guy or a girl. That's ridiculous. But I also don't understand how you can be a woman and have an XY chromosome, because an XY chromosome is what makes you a man. Okay, but anyways, that being said, this is if they were born women, okay? And we kind of have to play hypotheticals because nobody wants to tell the truth. They didn't, the other one is a Chinese gal, I believe. The Algerian person did not appeal. And then I believe the Chinese gal did appeal, but then dropped the appeal. The IOC said, you are a woman, you're competing as a woman. It says women on your passport, female. You can compete in the Olympics in female boxing. So they obviously have an advantage. This is what I want to get to. They obviously have an advantage. They both made the gold medal match. A lot of the women there said that was the hardest they've ever been hit. You have to have rules to protect people. Not ridiculous rules like the NFL. Otherwise, we'll just play flag football. But when you're punching people in the face, there needs to be some rules. And when you break those rules, then there needs to be some consequences. Or when you don't fit into a certain box, there needs to, maybe you should separate them. I don't see what the problem is with having a whole division for them. Right? If you test positive and because I don't know if this is true. Like I don't know. We're all confused on what's going on. Is this a guy? Is this a girl? I don't know. But what I do know is that they tested positive for an XY chromosome, and they have way more testosterone than the other females there. And just go look at these humans. They are huge compared to the other gals in their class. So I think we should have another section for them to compete in, right? Rather than just competing in the 66 kilogram women's boxing, they could compete in 66 kilogram women that tested with high testosterone with an XY chromosome. They can compete in that. I don't think that's controversial. I think that's very fair. I think that's what's best for the sport. And we won't have to fight about what we don't know. Honestly, if I knew, I would tell you, but I don't know because the media has confused everyone. And they're great at it. This is what they've been doing for the past, 50 years in the United States, just trying to confuse everyone, pushing an agenda. And I don't know. But there are things I do know is that they should not be competing against women that do not have this. That is an unfair advantage. So they crack hard. They crack down hard on Russians and Chinese that are doping and using steroids and things like that. But then the second that you have an unfair advantage and they test for it and they know, and it's like this, and it comes to this gender ideology stuff, they don't want to touch it. It's really easy, guys. It's really easy. Just separate and make a separate class. Boom. They can compete right there. The highlight, though, of the Olympics yesterday was, let me find his name, Cole Hawker. Hawker? Sorry, Cole. Great name, though. My brother's name. Men's 1,500 meter final on the track. It was awesome. Cole won gold. We had another Yared won bronze. The two favorites, one was from Great Britain. He went to New Mexico, ran at New Mexico, and then goes, I don't know if he was from Great Britain, went to New Mexico to run, and then now he's representing Great Britain. Once again, you got people using our system of sports to better themselves. That's fine, whatever. But came to the United States. We're helping out the rest of the country. We say we're the conferences of Olympians that don't compete for us. Yeah. Come on. But anyways, Cole's run was epic. The two favorites, one from Great Britain, another one, I believe, from Norway, not from the United States. And they've been a rivalry, I guess, for some time. And Cole came out of nowhere, and that last push to finish, man, was awesome. I thought it was so fun. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. And then, sorry for butchering all you guys' names. Yared, or is it Jared with a Y? I don't know. I know sometimes Y is J, or J is Y, Y is J. I don't know. Jared. He had a good run as well. So Cole was a beast, epic run in the 1,500. I suggest you go watch it. That last push for gold was very fun. All right. Let's talk real quick about the rest of the sports world in the United States. I saw a fun video I thought would be fun to talk about was Nick Saban talking with Matt Eberflus on Hard Knocks, Chicago Bears. And they're talking about Caleb Williams. And Nick Saban was talking about how these young quarterbacks come in and there's very little success. Very little success for when these very successful college quarterbacks come in, are drafted high, put on poor teams, and they never pan out. He's talking about expectations. And I think that's good for all of us, right? We hold, just in our own lives, expectations for ourselves. We hold us to high expectations, family members to high expectations, kids, wives, husbands. And then when they don't meet them, we are very disappointed, right? And I think that's okay. And I think it's actually good to have high expectations, but it's what we do in between the start and where we want them to finish. It's what are we doing to help them in between? And that's what Nick Saban was talking about. He's talking about development. You have to develop around Caleb Williams. Right? If you want Caleb Williams to be successful, one, you have to coach him and develop him. Two, you got to put pieces around him. And that's true for anyone in our lives. I think about my life. I'll use me for an example. Just being in the insurance world. I just started. I'm not going to know anything, but my boss puts time into teaching me terminology, how to deal with people, have conversations with people, meaningful conversations with people because we care and we want to help people. And then at the same time, putting other people around me and giving me the best opportunity to meet his expectations with, giving me good software, teaching me, putting those good people around me. It's the same thing in the football world. And I think that the media pundits that are always talking about, or they want to play prophet, if guys are going to pan out or not. And I think we want everyone to pan out. But the conversation should be, is the head coach putting other pieces around him Okay, players, offensive line, and are they developing? And that's something you won't know unless you go to practice every day. Now, I will say there is something to be said about the person themselves and their mentality. And I didn't hear this from Nick Saban. He may have gone into it, but I didn't hear this from him, is that person has to be willing and ready to make that jump. They have to be mentally tough to go through the development process, because I think it's very difficult mentally. For football, it's very physical. So you got to be in the gym working out, throwing footballs. So there's double the work. And then one thing that I don't think is talked about enough is that people have to be ready and willing to take that step. If someone isn't ready or willing, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to change. They're going to sit on the couch and play video games all day when they get home and not study the playbook. They're not going to be reading about, getting better. They're not going to be reading the Bible, praying, which none of those things. Playing video games doesn't help you improve. And I think the reason I bring up video games is because that was a struggle for me. And I think it's a struggle for a lot of people my age and younger. So Nick Saban's right. It's really hard when there's high expectations and there's high expectations and other people know there's high expectations for you to succeed quick, and you don't, to just throw you to the wayside. But remember, the development process takes a long time. That's why I think, the montages in movies where, like the Rocky montage, he's working out. And I think these fighting movies and sports movies, the montages of them just winning, it's not real life. This is why I like Remember the Titans. What's the montage in Remember the Titans? It's just them. The montage is them winning the football game. And it's true in life. If they were going to make a movie about life, real life, the montage would be of you winning, of you meeting those expectations. The long part, the movie part, the drawn out part is you working hard through the development process. I think that's key. I think we need to go back to that. I think we have left that in a world of scrolling and me right now. Give it to me right now. What's next? Next. Scroll. We need to slow down and understand that it takes time to develop and meet the expectations that we want in our own lives, that we want in other people's lives. Just remember that. And it's not going to be easy. All right. Next topic. Chicago White Sox got a win. We'll throw that out there really quick. Big time. They should have set the record. Anyways, montage. They're coming back. Let's put in the work, boys. All right. We brought it up yesterday because it broke news yesterday morning. Didn't know a whole lot about it. But the Pitbull naming rights at FIU for the stadium. So Pitbull Stadium, a football stadium at FIU now. So there's some more logistics that have come out. So it's going to be it's a 5-year deal, $1.2 million every year. Okay, so money-wise, not that big. Okay. Like we have here in Fresno State, Valley Children's Hospital signed the naming rights deal with Fresno State. I believe $1 million over every year over 10 years. That's the deal. The Pitbull is doing it $1.2 million every year for 5 years. He gets the musical rights in the stadium, or the stadium gets musical rights to Pitbull, so I'm sure they can play whatever they want. Pitbull did. Pitbull gets to use the stadium 10 days out of the year, which that's key for both parties. Okay, so I think this deal was good for both parties. So FIU gets to use Pitbull as leverage with recruits, leverage in the community for concerts. So, who knows what the cut will be when Pitbull has a concert and what Pitbull is going to take and how much FIU will make. But what I will say is that FIU was not having Pitbull concerts before this, and they're going to get 10. That's a big moneymaker. I think in Fresno, that would be great. We should be doing that. There should be so many things going on in former Bulldog Stadium. So many things. Anyways, FIU and Pitbull. I think here's what I'll say. The deal has to be good on both ends for both parties. You have to win, right? Why sign a deal where you lose? And I think there's a lot of people, especially in the Central Valley, that sign deals that lose, and they lose. I'm one of them. I've done it before. I sign deals, and I'm on the losing end, and I'm doing way too much work for other people that are winning, and I'm losing. Got to sign deals that you win on. Both parties win on FIU. And so I just encourage you and the leaders in the Central Valley, sign deals that both parties win on. And FIU wins because they're going to get recruits. They're going to get money. It's very cool. They're changing the game when it comes to deals. Celebrities, they want that. This is what celebrities live for, man. They just want to be in front of people. They want their name out there. I think it's a great idea. Go cater to those egos if you're going to get the money. Also, fans appreciate it, right? Fans think that's fun, right? I'm not one to put one faith in any celebrity or human being ever or whatsoever living right now other than Jesus. But I will say it's fun when there's something offered, like a big name comes in. I'm trying to think of someone big in the Central Valley that would come in. Who knows? I'm just thinking for Fresno State purposes, like if Aaron Judge bought the naming rights to the baseball diamond or the football stadium or the cars or Paul George, whoever, Josh Allen, that would be funny. That would be really funny if Josh Allen bought the naming rights to Fresno State football stadium. But they do that, I think it'd be fun. They make appearances. They bring people in to do concerts, speeches. The fans win. The school wins. The person that got the naming rights, the business that got the naming rights wins as well. See, in Fresno, the Valley Children's Hospital doesn't seem like anyone is winning, right? I understand Valley Children's has a marketing budget. Everybody's got a marketing budget. Does a hospital need a marketing budget? The one children's hospital around here, you could argue no. I don't know though. I don't know what they do. I haven't been inside those meetings. And then $1 million over 10 years that most is going to a third-party media company that we have running, go in charge of getting ads. And by the end of it, are we really even making any money? The school, what do the fans get from it? Nothing. I don't know who wins. The third-party media company wins. That's who wins. And it's not their fault. It's the school's fault for signing that. The school signed the deal. So Valley Children's gets their name. I guess they have some winning going on because they get the name on it, but they're out and it's within their budget. So I guess they win. But the fans lose and the school loses. So the important things lose in Fresno. I haven't sat in any meetings. I don't know anything about that deal. But what I do know is that this Pitbull deal makes a lot of deals in the country look bad because all parties are winning in this deal. Tell me your thoughts. Comment down below on the Pitbull deal, Fresno State deal, naming rights deal for the stadium. What should happen, what shouldn't happen, and how do you think this FIU will change the landscape of college football? I think it's going to change the landscape of college football tremendously. I listened to a couple mainstream media shows yesterday, and they're getting worried because they're worried that names of stadiums are going to change. And that's tradition. We don't want that to change. Well, let me just tell all the Power 4 schools right now that this is happening. It's going to happen. And it's going to look like a minor league baseball field. That's what college sports is going to look like soon. You're going to have businesses on the field. You're going to have business logos plastered on every inch of the football stadium. The football stadium will be named after a business or a celebrity. Outside the stadium will be plastered with logos and names. You want to make money. You want to be able to compete in NIL and in the transfer portal. This is what's going to happen. Until things are changed with NIL and the transfer portal, this is going to happen, and this is what has to happen for any school to compete, especially at the G5 level. And then it's only if you don't have multimillionaires just giving you money, like a lot of P4 schools do, then it's going to happen. And eventually, some school will have businesses coming in and putting logos up everywhere. And there'll be big deals. And they're going to pull away. And some kid, is going to get the naming rights, is going to get some celebrities money again. That's name is on the stadium, and everybody else is going to want that, so they're going to start doing it. It's going to change the landscape of how college football, NIL, and transfer portal works, unfortunately. Last thing for the day, it's going to be a shorter one today. 30 minutes. We're doing all right. I just want to give a shout out to Quincy Pondexter, a local guy, former NBA, Quincy Pondexter. He's putting together a great list of NBA guys and former NBA guys to come play at this Fresno Pro-Am. Fresno Pro-Am has been going on for a couple years now. They've been playing at Fresno City. There was a dunk in the Fresno City gym where it shattered the glass. And so they're not able to play in Fresno City anymore. The playoffs were postponed. But they're having Quincy Pondexter out, and Quincy is bringing out Paul George, Jalen Green, Isaiah Thomas, the young kid that was just drafted by the Bucks. He's Johnson, I believe. And I think it's great. This is what the Central Valley should be doing. And Quincy Pondexter is a good representation of it, right? And what they're also doing is they're getting backpacks together for kids to go back to school. They're giving out backpacks, and you're encouraged to bring stuff. I think it's wonderful what they're doing for the community. I think we need to have more of it. And, this is why it's important for people, go be successful. That's fine. I'm okay. It's taken me this long to understand, it's okay for people to leave Fresno. But what I do like about Quincy, if you don't want to be here in Fresno, that's fine. But if you, like Quincy, are living in Fresno, enjoy Fresno, or from Fresno, you go do your thing, you come back. Why don't you help out the community with the resources that you have? Dog bothering me. Resources that you have. I think it'd be great to help out the needy in the Central Valley. And this is one way to do it. Here's a funny thing about this. Quincy Pondexter, Isaiah Thomas, Jalen Green, and I believe it's AJ Johnson. I believe that. If not, I'm apologize. Those four out of the five, and then you have Paul George. 4 out of the 5 didn't go to Fresno State. I don't believe Isaiah Thomas is from the Central Valley. Paul George is not from the Central Valley, but he went to Fresno State. We have lots of people from the Central Valley and from Fresno State that went to Fresno State that, I would encourage them to use the resources they have to help the Central Valley. Because I don't, Granted, I will also say this, that what you do in secret is also very, like, when you give in secret, I think there's something to that as well, right? Giving to helping the needy and not plastering it all over TikTok and Instagram reels. I think that's awesome. So there may be things going on that I don't know of, but I really like that there are former NBA players coming here to support the needy and helping out kids. Help the needy, help kids. That's objective number one. That's what we're called to do. Help the widows and orphans. And then two, I think they're encouraging these kids. When you see NBA players in your hometown, in your high school gym playing, that's huge. I know the Lopez twins. I would see them when I was in high school. I see the Lopez twins show up to gyms, and they were coaching Clovis North AAU teams and helping out there. So I think that's great. I think it's fun. I think it's good for the community. And I think Fresno and the community needs to start buying in. I've said this multiple times over the past 3 days, buying into what is out there. But let us not envy. There's way too much envy out there. Way too much competition. We need to unite over, if you're not going to unite over Jesus, right? But you have Jesus, you have to show that love. You can show Jesus' love through other things, and they will see Jesus through that. And I think one of those things, and probably the easiest, and I'm taking the easy way out, is sports. So that's why I think it's special that Quincy Pondexter is doing this. So thank you, QP. We appreciate it. Don't get hurt at this pro-am. Also, I will say, if any basketball coaches are out here, listen to the last episode. I talk about 3-on-3 basketball and how all high school coaches should be requiring their kids to play 3-on-3 basketball, whether in practice or signing up for 3-on-3 events, because it really teaches them basketball. So even the college guys. So Quincy, encourage those college kids to play 3-on-3 basketball. All right. I'm going to get ready for subscribe. Better today. It says it's working right now. At least hopefully this is. And comment down below on YouTube about anything you heard. And I just want to have a conversation and want to encourage the Central Valley to love each other. And if we, get to know Jesus, if you have questions, DM me. If not, let's talk sports. Love to do that. All right. God bless you guys. See ya.